Everyone, it's Angela here. Happy Saturday. Guys, today we're talking about thought transmission and how this is the catalyst that allows us to see people show up differently, that allows us to create that story and see someone conform to the story that we prefer. So stick around. This is going to be awesome. Thought transmission is like one of the best topics to talk about. It is the basis of law of assumption. If you would like to work with me, the links are down below for that. Also, the links for my course, Awaken to I Am, which is getting great feedback. Check that out. It's down below as well. Also, guys, we are giving away a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. So this is a great course. So if you're interested in that, also look down below in the description box. Okay, guys, this video came about, someone left a comment about seeing people show up differently. And I think the question was directed specifically towards seeing your mother-in-law and your mother show up differently. So remember though, manifesting is all the same. It doesn't matter if we are manifesting a material object, if we're manifesting the romantic relationship, the version of our SP, a family member, your mother, your mother-in-law, it's all the same, okay? It's coming from your internal story. It's coming from your beliefs. What you are focused on internally is creating everything in your life, okay? But if you're the person that asks those questions, remember, this applies to your mother and your mother-in-law, right? And if you're somebody manifesting an SP, this applies to that. If you are manifesting a different version of your boss, this applies. It all applies because it's all the same. As we start, I'm going to read a quote from Neville, and this is from Prayer, the Art of Believing. Okay, Neville says, your beliefs, your fixed attitudes of mind constantly modify your consciousness as it is reflected on the mirror of your mind. Your consciousness, modified by your beliefs, objectifies itself in the conditions of your world. To change the world, you must first change your conception of it. To change a man, you must change your conception of him or her. You must believe him to be the man you want him to be and mentally talk to him as though he were. All men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them. All men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them, okay? There's not one person that is more difficult than another, all right? I want you to understand that. Therefore, if your word is not reproduced visibly in him toward whom it is sent, the cause is to be found in you, not in the subject. As soon as you believe in the truth of the state affirmed, results follow. Everyone can be transformed. Everyone can be transformed. Every thought can be transmitted. Every thought can be visibly embodied. Okay, guys, it is all within you. When you want to see somebody conform, when you want to see them show up differently, when you want to have the dynamics of your relationship change, it is all within you, and it is all coming from your thoughts, okay? So what I want to start with first is talking about those inner conversations that you're having with yourself, because you have to begin to identify as the person that is having that version of your mother, mother-in-law, or your romantic partner or your boss show up. You have to begin to identify as the person that is having that relationship that you prefer. So very often we are on autopilot running negative stories about self, and our subconscious is picking all this up and it's saying this is important, and it's broadcasting that out, and that is the feedback that we get from the world. So you have to begin to identify with your inner conversation, with the way you are talking to yourself as the person that has everything they want in that relationship, everything that they want with whoever it is that they're wanting to see a change in. So for instance, if it is your mother, if it is your mother-in-law, and they have been disrespectful, or they have been inconsiderate, or whatever it might be that you're not liking, you have to begin to identify as the person that receives respect, that receives kindness. You have to begin to identify as the person that brings out the best in others. You have to rewrite that story internally of who you are. You have to change your self-talk, because your inner man, your subconscious man, is listening to your conversations as well, right? And as you are identifying who you want to be, how you want to be treated, all of those things about your assumptions of self, those thoughts are also transmitting. So they are being picked up on by everyone in your reality. So if you have like that belief that mother-in-laws are difficult to get along with, and you have a terrible relationship with your mother-in-law, and it's just unpleasant, those thoughts, your subconscious is picking up on that. Your subconscious is just creating or maintaining that assumption so that the world is going to reflect it back. The mother-in-law is aware on some level, feeling that that is your story. And a mother-in-law, mother, whoever, is going to reflect that story back. They're going to conform to whatever it is that you are focused on internally. So you change self. And Neville says, you know, you have to change yourself. If you're not seeing what you want in that person, then you have to change self. No one to change but self, ever. So something I love to tell myself all the time is, I bring out the very best version of everyone in my life. I just kind of make that my standard affirmation. So no matter what I'm thinking about, if it's, you know, romantically or with my children or family members, I bring out the best version in people. So begin to create the story of who you are, who you're identifying with, who you are believing yourself to be in relation to the people in your life, the people that you want to see differently. You can look at the things that you don't like in that relationship, the feelings that you don't like, and then change those stories, change those feelings, create affirmations around those feelings that are now directed towards the positive. Like if you feel that you're not important, you change that affirmation to, I am important. In fact, I am the most important person in my reality. I am treated like I'm important. You create an affirmation that supports that. Now, along with that, you need to really include that self-talk that is reaffirming this process. You need to remind yourself all the time of what's going on, that your life is unfolding because of the thoughts that you're thinking. Your life is unfolding in a particular way because of the way you view yourself. You need to reaffirm and stay aware of this process. That really empowers you. That really helps you be aware of what's going on. So, you know, always affirm, you know, I am aware and I understand this process. And I know that it's moving through me, and I know that I'm directing it, and I'm choosing now to be valued and to be treated with kindness and respect and to be honored. You know, whatever it is that you want to change, you know, include all of that within the understanding that it is happening through you and you're in charge of it. Now, the second part in wanting to see somebody conform is changing the assumptions that we have of the person. And if we have a history with someone, if we've had a long time to experience them in a particular way, this takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of discipline to begin to change that story. And you have to remind yourself sometimes, you know, that it's okay as you move through this process, if you still have those old thoughts that come up, you know, those old memories of past experiences that come up, because it's a process of reshaping your thoughts around a person. But Neville says, you know, that quote, everyone can be transformed. So, you know, everyone can show up differently when you choose to believe that they can. And part of this process is a forgiveness. And we don't always talk about forgiveness, and sometimes we don't like to talk about forgiveness, but forgiveness is always for us. It's for you. It really isn't necessarily about the other person, but it is you letting go of the old story so that you can now begin to focus on the new story. So you have to put that old story behind you. You have to say, it doesn't matter now. It's in the past. All I have is this new moment right now. And from this space, from this moment, I'm going to focus on something for the next future moment, right? That old story has no power if we can let go of it, turn away from it, forgive somebody for the things that they said or did in order to see them differently. Okay. And it's just something that helps you let go of the memory of what happened. If you were hurt or, rejected, whatever, it's for you, forgiveness. So you have to let go of that old story, let go of that history, and begin to create the story that you prefer. Begin to put your attention on the story that you prefer. You do this even before you see the evidence. You do it when things are showing up the same, right? You continue to persist, to persist, to persist, to persist. This is what causes things to solidify, to harden into fact. This is what actually allows you to see that new reality, okay? Remember, you're not always going to have emotions that support those thoughts. You're not always going to have feelings that support that new story. You continue to pursue that new story anyway. You continue to persist in the new story, reminding yourself that your thoughts are leading the whole show, that you're directing everything with what you're choosing intentionally to think about. And eventually, the 3D has to support that. The 3D has to reflect it back, and it has to show you that version that you would prefer. So, guys, it's all about the inner conversations. It's all about believing in your thoughts and thought transmission and knowing that the stories that you are telling yourself, everyone is aware of them. Your subconscious is picking up on that. The 3D is waiting to show you what it is that you're focused on internally, right? If you begin to focus on the best version of other people, if you begin to focus on you bringing out the very best in people, and if you begin to focus on you being that person that is getting everything that you want from that relationship with whoever it might be in your life, the 3D is going to reflect it back. Everyone in your reality is going to pick up on this story. Those thoughts are going to be overheard by everyone in your reality. It's a experience that is always occurring, right? And you have to just become aware of the story that you prefer. You have to become aware of your thoughts. Awareness is key here. All right, let's see. I got everything in my notes. I think I have. Guys, I just want you to know I have had people show up so different when I begin to change the story of them, right? I've had family members. I've had a person in my life romantically come in differently. People will reflect the story of who you are and of what you assume of the other person. That's how your life has always been unfolding. And, go back and look at other relationships in your life, even the negative, relationships, and just check in with what you were thinking at that time. See if you can remember what kind of state you were embodying. And that's going to just give you proof that your thoughts created maybe that unhappy relationship based on those negative thoughts. It doesn't matter, but go back and look and think about, the times when you were thinking about certain things, and then when you saw people come in and reflect that back. So guys, if you have, a great story with your thoughts and thought transmission and how you saw someone show up differently based on the change in your thoughts, leave a comment below, because it's really encouraging for other people to know that someone else has done it, and that people have had partners and family members and bosses show up differently based on your thoughts, showing up and reflecting your thoughts and just mirroring back the things that you're thinking about. So leave a comment and encourage someone with that. Okay, guys, be encouraged and just remember everybody can show up differently. Anybody can change. All thoughts are transmitting and it's always happening all the time. I just hope that this has been very encouraging for you and you know that if one person can do it, then you can do it. All right, I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.